Hi, I'm Patrick Schweiss, the director of the Sedona International Film Festival. We have enjoyed over 2 decades of significant growth right here in Sedona, turning into a 9-day celebration of the best films from around the world. And we have you to thank for that. We are so grateful to our community of Sedona, our city councilors, our mayor, our audience members, our sponsors, our donors, our members, and everyone that makes the Sedona International Film Festival the significant event that it is today. We are here to enlighten, entertain, and inspire, and you have helped make that possible. So please enjoy Sedona Now's coverage of the Sedona International Film Festival.
Remember I said rock concert. I don't want you whining in the back. Oh my God, it was so loud. You're at a rock concert. Suck it up and deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Grammy-winning Chicago.
I found it inspiring right from the get-go to write songs and think about where the horns would go. So for most of the music that I've written for Chicago, I wrote the song, I wrote the lyrics, but I also created places where the horns could step out either solo or play what we call horn ensembles. And it was just, really interesting. I learned as I was doing, because I had no idea how to arrange or how to write for horns. I started doing it.
Right.
Trying to do it.
There you go. Get thrown to the wolves. That's the best way to learn, right?
Exactly.
Sacred Journey, so everyone thinks it's like this heavy thing. It's not. It's got laughs, it's comedy, we play with it, we play with the characters, we play with Sedona. So it was really fun for us to go back into our comedy roots, and kind of say, hey, we could be silly and crazy in this movie. You're going to experience all 3 kinds of vortexes today, an inflow, an outflow, and a balance. This is an inflow. That trail will take you through to the vortex. It's a feminine or magnetic vortex, so prayers and meditations are more effective here. Good for healing your past and finding your life's purpose. I'll be here if you need anything.
At one point, we were like a mob family, right?
Yeah, and here's the
deal.
deal.
We were brother and sister.
Yeah, it was a mafia movie to begin with, okay? I was a mafia kid living in witness protection in Sedona, Arizona.
It was really good.
It was. It changed a little over the years. But Mackenzie Phillips, we go way back, and I called Mackenzie as soon as Mike and I had the idea to write this movie, and I'm like, Mackenzie, whatever we do, will you do it with me?
And of course I said, yeah.
And that's kind of the inception. So.
Okay, well, first off, when I heard that I was working with these two, I actually didn't even know who they were. I just knew. I'm being serious. I didn't know at all. I'm like, oh, Glenn, I'll make two new acting friends, and I have to say, when I was on set, it was just such a relaxing environment with these two. These are friends for life now, honestly. It's just, we had so many fun times. I don't think we stopped laughing when we were not shooting. Yeah, that is true.
George Shea approached me one day. We live in the same neighborhood, and he came up and he said, I had this idea. He's a very, very committed naturalist, environmentalist. He said, I had this idea. He was about doing a show about this fellow who was this extraordinary kind of pioneer in the area of understanding global warming. And I said, that sounds interesting. He said, and I'd love to have you do it. And I said, what are we talking about? And he saw it as a one-man show, a play. And he said, I said actually to him, that's, that's great, but a scientist talking about science is going to be a lecture, and I don't think people want to sit still for a lecture. If you're talking about a play, it really has to be a play, and he said he understood that. So he went to work and came back a few months later, with what was essentially a lecture. So we batted it back and forth for a couple of revisions, and ultimately came up with an entertaining and educational piece about this man's life. It's hard because it's a one-man show. It's hard for the audience, I think, sometimes, and hard for the performer. But it's just terrific to hear people respond, you know, even subtly sometimes.
I screen tested with Ron Howard for it, yeah. And I'd never met him, and I'd just gotten off a plane from doing travels with my aunt in Spain. I was jet lagging, and I said, no, I cannot come in and screen test. And then they said, you have to. And then I read the script, and I wanted to play, first of all, Candy Clark's part. I wanted to play Debbie, and then Fred Roos, who cast it, said, been cast. And then I said, what about Carol? It's a 12-year-old. I said, I'll put braces on my teeth. And he said, you know, Cindy, believe it or not, I'm actually going to cast a 12-year-old in this role. I said, okay, all right. So then just the weeping ingenue is left.
And you were so friggin' good.
And, you know, I thought everybody else gets to have fun, and I cry through the whole movie. But it was like going to church camp.
My personal favorite is the shaving cream scene, where Milner and I jump out of the car, and I mean, I felt extremely specifically alive while filming that scene. And it's a hallmark moment that I will never forget. Paul and I running around in the dark.
It was 28 nights of being up all night. So, and George Lucas and Haskell Wexler, they were editing during the day, and also Haskell was going down to his production company called Dove Films in Los Angeles, and he shot a lot of commercials. So during the day, he would go down and work and do commercials, and then it'd fly back up, and then we'd shoot all night, and George was editing all day and working all night. So by the time the film was coming towards the end, both of them were like zombies. They hardly spoke. Their eyes were all hollow, they were thin, and yeah, it was quite the experience. To me, it was hard because of the night shoot. That was the hardest part.
My manager, which was everybody's manager at the time, Pat McQueenie, say, you know, they're gonna hire your part out of San Francisco. I don't think you should do it. And I went, oh, I have to do it. I want to do it. So I went up to San Francisco and was hired out of San Francisco as a San Francisco actress. That's how badly I wanted to do this part.
When I was 12, I played the Palace, and I met my teacher. And nobody could get through to me. I was very shy, withdrawn, inhibited, and repressed. And so I thought if I learned, well, again, they brought me to song and dance school because there are others like me. And so Billy took me on, Billy Quinn, and he wanted to give me time in relation to timing, and I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. Not only was I so deeply frightened and traumatized at the condition of life on the planet in the human form and how we are. I didn't want to know, it was too frightening. But he insisted, he pounded me, not physically, and he broke through, and I wept, but he didn't treat me like a baby. And so he gave me time, so the timing is perfect, it always is, it's always now, which would be my working title for the sequel to The Long Goodbye, It's Always Now.